Welcome to the HFY Codex tale. If you like our videos, keep supporting and subscribe to our channel. The pup in the wreckage. The sky was dark with smoke. Fire flickered in the distance. Metal scraps and broken glass were scattered across the quiet forest. A small human rescue ship landed slowly, its lights sweeping the ground. Eli, a human field tech and emergency responder, stepped out carefully. His boots crunched on the burned grass. The beacon had led him here. An alien escape pod had crashed 3 hours ago. But no signals were coming out now. Just silence and one weak repeating sound. Whimper, whimper. Eli followed the noise through twisted trees and broken metal. The air smelled like smoke and blood. Then he saw it. A bent escape pod, half crushed, leaning against a tree. Its emergency hatch was open, but no one had come out. Eli moved closer, holding his scanner up. Inside, the dim light showed something moving. Very small. Very weak. "Hello," Eli called. "Is someone there?" The scanner picked up 2 lifeforms. One large, one tiny. He stepped into the wreckage. And then he froze. Inside, curled in a corner, was an alien girl. Tall, thin, silver-blue skin covered in ash. Her eyes half closed, breathing shallow. And in her arms was a small, furred creature, barely alive. It looked like a puppy, but not from Earth. Its chest rose and fell in weak, broken breaths. The girl growled softly when Eli came closer. Her arms tightened around the pup. "I'm not here to hurt you," he said gently. "I can help." She didn't answer. Her lips moved, but the words were in a different language. Her head was bleeding, her breathing fast. But she didn't care about herself. She only cared about the tiny creature in her arms. Eli opened his pack and pulled out a med scan. "You're injured, you need medical." Suddenly, she bared her teeth. Not like a threat. Like a warning. Like she'd fight if he came any closer. Eli held up both hands. "Okay, I get it, just stay calm." He backed up a step. Then something happened that made him stop breathing. The girl shifted her body, carefully, gently, and exposed a part of her chest. The pup whined, and slowly, shakily, began to feed. Eli's eyes went wide. She was nursing the pup. With her own body. It wasn't shameful. It wasn't strange. It was sacred. The way she looked down at the creature. The way she cradled it. The way her body had changed to keep it alive. It was instinct. Pure, ancient, and beautiful. Eli looked away, feeling like he had seen something private. But at the same time, he couldn't ignore the feeling growing in his chest. This girl, she wasn't a soldier. She wasn't a threat. She was a protector. The pup let out a soft noise, its tiny tail moving. It was getting stronger. And the girl smiled. Just a little. Her hands were shaking, her body weak. But she kept holding the creature close, even as her own strength faded. Eli stepped forward again, slowly. He knelt down beside her. This time she didn't growl. She looked at him, eyes half glowing. And she whispered something. He didn't understand the words. But the meaning was clear. "Helped him." Eli nodded. "I will, I promise." He gently opened a thermal blanket and wrapped it around her shoulders. Then another around the pup. The girl leaned her head against the pod wall. She was fatting. Eli opened his comm and called in a support signal. "Rescue to base, I found survivors. 1 female unknown species, 1 pup. They're alive. I'm bringing them home." As the shuttle arrived, and Eli lifted the girl carefully into his arms, he felt something deep in his chest. Not duty. Not fear. Just something simple. Respect. Because in the middle of fire, metal, and war, he had found a girl who gave her life for a creature no one else would have noticed. And that made her more human than most. The act he couldn't explain. The medical bay was silent. Just the soft hum of machines, the occasional beep of a scanner, and the quiet breathing of the alien girl lying on the padded bed. Eli sat nearby, watching. He didn't know her name. He didn't know what species she belonged to. But he knew one thing. She wasn't ordinary. The pup was curled up against her side, wrapped in a heated towel. It looked stronger than yesterday. Its breathing was stable, its tiny limbs no longer limp. And she was resting, but not deeply. Her arm stayed around the creature, even in sleep. She wouldn't let it go. Eli checked the vitals on the console. Her body was strange, complex. She had 2 heartbeats, 3 different oxygen filters, and her body temperature shifted every few hours. But what confused the doctors most was the lactation system. Her body produces milk, one nurse said, surprised. Not just for her species, but adaptable to others, like she was born to nourish any life form she bonded with. Eli didn't know how to respond. He just kept watching. Later that night, the girl woke. Her eyes opened slowly, wide, soft, glowing blue. She saw Eli. She didn't flinch, didn't growl. She just looked tired and curious. He smiled gently. "Hey, you're safe now." She didn't answer, but her gaze went to the pup. Eli understood. He's okay, eating warm, healing. She relaxed, but only a little. She pulled the creature close again, then, without fear or shame, shifted her robe and let the pup nurse once more. Eli turned his eyes away, giving her privacy. But he couldn't ignore the feeling in his chest. It wasn't shock anymore. It wasn't confusion. It was awe. She wasn't doing it because she was ordered to. She wasn't doing it for show. She did it because life was in her hands, and she refused to let it die. After the pup was full, she looked up and spoke. One word, a soft sound in her alien tongue. "Asira." Eli leaned forward. "Is that your name?" She placed a hand on her chest. "Sira." He smiled. "I'm Eli." She tried to repeat it. "Eli." He nodded. They smiled. For the first time. The pup let out a tiny bark. They both looked at it, then looked at each other, and laughed just a little. In that small white room, something began to grow. Not just trust, not just understanding, but something deeper. Connection. Eli had seen war, seen death, broken machines, empty cities. But he had never seen anything like her. She wasn't just surviving. She was giving life. And in doing so, she had given him something too. Hope, the girl who couldn't speak human. For days, Sierra stayed in the medical room with the pup. She didn't talk much. She tried, but her words were soft and strange, with sounds Eli didn't understand. She pointed to objects. She made hand signs. She even mimicked tones he used. But nothing clear came out. Still, Eli never left her alone. He sat by the wall, eating meals quietly, working on his datapad and watching the little pup grow stronger every day. It was a strange creature, small, furry, big eyes and ears that twitched with every sound. But it was smart. Too smart. One morning, as Eli leaned in to check the pup's food bowl, he heard something unexpected. "Food." He blinked. "Did you just talk?" The pup wagged its tiny tail. "Food," it said again. It was clumsy, high-pitched, but the word was real. Eli looked at Sierra in shock. "Did he just say that?" Sierra smiled, gently touching the pup's head. "Here, you." She tapped her ear, then the pup. "Copy." Eli sat down, stunned. "He's learning speech by listening." She nodded slowly, then tapped her own chest. "No speak, but he help." Over the next few hours, it became clear. The pup wasn't just her pet. It was a translator. Somehow the creature could mimic sounds and emotions, reflecting what Sierra wanted to say. "Name?" Eli asked. Sierra pointed to the pup. The pup chirped, then spoke. "Tally." Eli smiled. "Tally, that's cute." The pup barked once in agreement. Sierra smiled wider. It was the biggest smile he had seen on her face yet. Using Tally's help, Sierra began telling him small things. Where she came from, why she was in the escape pod, how she had raised Tally from birth after finding him injured on her planet, and how her species, the Velari, were known not for war but for care. They were healers, nurturers, guardians of life. But then why were you in a military pod? Eli asked. She went quiet. Tally tilted his head, then in a softer voice spoke. Forced mission. They used you. She nodded. Eli's chest tightened. Sierra wasn't a soldier by choice. She had been sent into war because her body could save others. Because she could heal soldiers. Even if it broke her. He looked at her now, not as an alien, not even as a friend, but as someone stronger than anyone he'd ever met. You saved Tally with your body. Now he's saving your voice, Eli said softly. Sierra reached across the table and touched his hand gently. And you saved me. The contact was small, but her fingers were warm. And he didn't pull away. They sat like that for a while. Tally curled up between them. The girl who couldn't speak human was now saying more than words ever could. The night she protected him. The night was quiet. Too quiet. The lights in the medical wing dimmed. Machines hummed gently. Outside, stars blinked in a peaceful sky. Eli had fallen asleep in the chair again, arms crossed, head tilted to one side. Sierra sat on the edge of the bed, her eyes open, glowing faintly in the dark. Tally the pup was curled on her lap, breathing softly. She was learning to feel safe here. Learning to breathe slowly. But something tonight felt wrong. She looked toward the door. A soft noise. Too soft. Like metal dragging across tile. Her body tensed. Her species was born to heal, but also to defend. She stood silently, moving Tally to the pillow beside Eli. The hallway lights flickered. Then, a shape appeared. Tall metal limbs, no eyes. A stealth drone not human-made. Enemy. Eli, she whispered. But he didn't wake. The drone crept forward, scanning the room. Its sensors locked on the human. Target found. Threat elimination, 5 seconds. Sierra didn't wait. She ran toward the drone before it could fire. Her body moved faster than it had in weeks. In one motion, she jumped and slammed into it. The drone stumbled, then activated its shock pulse. Crack! A wave of energy hit her. She dropped to one knee, but didn't fall. Her body shimmered, the skin along her arms turned silver, her muscles flexed unnaturally. The door flew open. Eli woke with a gasp just in time to see Sierra's hands glowing. She grabbed the drone's head and twisted sharply. Sparks flew, the machine screamed. And then, silence. The drone collapsed. Dead. Eli rushed over. Sierra, are you okay? She turned to him. Her skin slowly faded back to its soft blue. Her arms shook. But she was still standing. You protected me, he said in disbelief. Sierra touched her chest. You protect me, I protect you. Tally barked once and jumped into her arms. Sierra sat back on the bed, breathing hard. Eli sat beside her. Where did that come from? He asked. She closed her eyes. Velari are protectors. When bonded, we fight for what we love. Eli's heart skipped. Bonded. She didn't answer. She just looked at him, deep, silent, certain. And gently, without words, she placed her forehead against his. A Velari tradition. Not of war. Not of surrender. But of trust. The alarms went off too late. Security rushed in. But the danger was already gone. Because Sierra had already saved him. And for the first time in Eli's life, he knew what it felt like to be someone's reason to fight. The day the pup chose him. The danger had passed. The broken drone was taken away. Security tightened, base patrols tripled. But Eli couldn't stop thinking about what he had seen. Not the drone. Her. Sierra glowing fierce fast, a blur of light and instinct. She had risked everything for him. And he didn't even know what to call what they had. The next morning, Eli brought breakfast to the medical room. As always, Tally jumped off the bed and ran to greet him. But this time, something was different. The pup didn't just wag its tail. It licked Eli's hand, curled against his boot, and refused to move. "Hey, buddy," Eli laughed. "What's gotten into you?" Sierra watched carefully, then slowly stood, walked over and sat beside him. He chose. Chose what? She touched her heart, then pointed to Tally, then to Eli. "Pack." Eli tilted his head. "You mean I'm in his pack now?" She nodded slowly, then added in a more serious tone. "Not small thing." She sat up straighter. "Valeri pups bond once, one heart, one soul, one voice." "Are you saying I'm bonded with him?" "Yes." Eli blinked. "But I didn't do anything." "You stayed," Sierra said softly. "You cared, you didn't run," he felt it. Tally leapt into Eli's lap, licking his face and whimpering softly. Sierra smiled, but there was something in her eyes, something complicated. Not sadness, not joy. Something in between. "He will never leave you now," she said. "And you?" Eli asked, voice softer. Sierra looked at him for a long moment. "You are already inside me." "What does that mean?" She didn't answer with words. Instead, she reached up and touched the side of his neck. Just her fingertips. "If the pup bonded, what do you think I did?" The air went still. His heartbeat quickened. But she wasn't afraid. And neither was he. "Sierra," he whispered, "is that why you risked your life for me?" She nodded once. "Valeri protect those we choose." "Not with words. With everything." Eli looked down at Tally, curled in his arms. Then back at Sierra. "Then I choose too." He didn't say the words she expected. He said something simpler. Something stronger. "You're not alone anymore." Her eyes shimmered, not glowing. Wet. That night they sat together with Tally between them. No alarms. No machines. Just 3 lives, quietly becoming one story. And somewhere deep in her chest, Sierra felt her second heart beat faster. Not from fear, but from belonging. Her body changed to save them. The sky above the base turned orange. Another ship was approaching. But this one wasn't friendly. The base scanners picked it up too late. No signal. No ID. Just speed and power. Eli was in the garden wing when the alarm started. He dropped the water pouch and ran. Sierra. She wasn't in the medical room. She was standing in the hallway, completely still. Eyes glowing, chest rising fast. Tally barked once. Loud. Urgent. "Sierra," Eli stepped closer. But something was happening to her body. Her skin shimmered, not just glowing, but shifting. Her veins pulsed silver, her arms trembled, and her breath came faster. "What's happening to you?" She looked at him, pain in her eyes. "My body changing." "Why?" "Too close threat, bond deep. Body reacts, protects, no control." She fell to one knee. Tally cried beside her. Eli caught her before she hit the floor. Her skin was hot, too hot. Her heart was beating faster than it should. "You're overheating, your vitals are spiking." She whispered, "Valeri, give life to shield others. If I don't stop, I'll burn." Eli shook his head. "No, you saved me once, you saved Tally. Now it's our turn." The enemy ship landed hard. Soldiers poured out, mercenaries hired hunters. Not after the base, not after tech. After her, the Valeri girl. She was valuable, rare, dangerous. A weapon and healer in one. Eli ran into the command room and shouted. We don't fight, we don't shoot. We stall, I have a plan. While the officers hesitated, he turned to Sierra. Her body was flickering, like a fire that couldn't stay lit. You said the bond works both ways. She nodded weakly. Then give me some of it. Take some of me, feed off my energy. No, not safe. Do it, he said, grabbing her hand. Let me carry this with you. And then, her body calmed. Not fully, but just enough. A wave of light passed between their hands. His skin glowed where she touched him. For a second, his chest burned, but not in pain. In connection. Outside, the soldiers were met by security. They were delayed, distracted. And in that time, Sierra began to stand. Wobbly. Alive. Why would you do this? She asked. Eli smiled, still holding her hand. Because you're not a weapon, Sierra. You're the reason I believe in something again. And that was the moment her second heart beat steady again. Because now, it wasn't just hers. Together they stepped outside. Not to fight, but to be seen. And the enemy saw something in their joined hands. Something not worth risking. And they backed off. The ship left without firing a shot. Not because of weapons, but because of the one thing they didn't understand. Bond. That night Sierra lay in Eli's arms. Her skin cool, her eyes clear. Your touch saved me. So now we're even, he said softly. No, she whispered. Now we're one. The moment he couldn't walk away. The danger was gone. The enemy ship had left. The alarm stopped. But inside the base, something still wasn't right. Sierra's body was fatting again. She lay on the bed, breathing slow and shallow. Tally curled up beside her, whimpering softly. Her skin had lost its glow. The connection that once pulsed between her and Eli was now dim, flickering. Eli sat beside her, holding her hand. Stay with me, he whispered. She gave a weak smile. You should leave, I am not strong anymore. That's not why I stayed, he said, voice shaking. He looked into her tired eyes. You think I cared because you were powerful. Because you could heal. But Sierra, I cared because you gave your heart. She closed her eyes, and a tear rolled down her cheek. I don't want to go, she whispered. Not now, not after knowing this. Then don't, Eli said. You don't have to. He leaned in closer. His forehead touched hers, just like she had done before. Let me give you something now. He pressed a small capsule into her hand. Nutrient serum, human-modified, boosted with energy drawn from his own DNA. My blood, my body, my bond, he said. Why, she whispered. Because this time I choose you. Not as a duty, not as a rescue. But as the person I want beside me, always. The serum melted into her skin, her fingers twitched. Tally barked once, sharp and bright. Then slowly, her glow returned. Dim at first, then stronger. Her breathing steadied. Her lips parted in a whisper. Eli. He smiled. There you are. She sat up slowly, pressing her hand to his chest. Feeling his heartbeat, steady, warm, real. You didn't walk away. I never could, he said. Even if I broke, she asked. Especially if you broke, he answered. Tally jumped between them, tail wagging. The three of them sat together on that small bed, no longer survivors. But a pack. Weeks later, the council asked Eli if he would return to Earth. He said no. There's nothing for me there. And here, they asked. He looked at Sierra, now walking again, strong and proud, her hand wrapped in his. Here I have everything. And when she looked at him, her glowing eyes full of light, she said something she had never said before. Not through Tally, not through signs. Just her voice clear, certain, soft. I love you. Eli didn't say anything back. He just kissed her. Gently. And it said more than any word could. Not because she needed him. Not because he saved her. But because they chose each other. and no bond in the galaxy was stronger than that. The end Milky Way.